Hey, what's up guys? Rafiel coming at you with another awesome Weiss Schwarz deck profile. And before we start, I want to thank everyone who's helped me get my Blue Eyes Shiny Dragon Turbo and my Harpy Lady Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles to over 1,000 views. I really appreciate that, guys, if you're watching this and you've watched those. And if you're watching this and you haven't watched those, why don't you go check them out. And while you're at it, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more awesome videos. Now today we're going to be doing a deck profile for Ruby Kurosawa from Love Live Sunshine. Now this deck is a Japanese profile again, but once the extra booster comes out in English later this year, I'm pretty sure you will be able to build this deck 100% in English, maybe with the exception of one PR, which I'll talk about, but I'm pretty sure it's in English as I've seen other versions, other characters' versions of that PR being released in English. So without any further ado, guys, let's get into the profile. Starting off at level 0, we have 3 copies of Uranohoshi, Girls Academy Summer Uniform Ruby. So this is the PR that I'm not sure if it has been released in English or not. Basically, when it's played from hand to stage, she gets 1/5. Ruby doesn't have too many beaters at this stage. I mean, that's portrayed in the anime as not being very strong. But when this comes to play, it's a 4K. Obviously, there are better cards out there in Sunshine, but when you're sticking with Mono Ruby, this is probably one of the best cards that you actually have access to. Similarly, we have the Box Topper Ruby Box Topper PR from the Extra Booster, which is called Mini Ruby. So basically, the ability activates up to twice per turn. When another music character is placed on your stage, she gains 1,000 power, so she can get to like 4 or 5 power pretty quickly. And it's a box topper from the Extra Booster. We have 3 copies of Yohane Summer's Little Demon #4 Ruby Kurosawa. Pretty straightforward. It's a pay 1, drop 1 deck search. It helps because Ruby's Brainstormer isn't the most consistent, but yeah, play 3 copies of this. Again, guys, we only have 2 sets, one full set and 1 extra booster to make this deck, so we don't have as many options, because I think with the extra booster, they each only got like 3 cards. Next up, we have 3 copies of Application to the Club, Ruby Kurosawa. So this is actually one of your main back row cards. Most of the time, because your Brainstormer is not super reliant, you're probably just going to chuck 2 of this in the back row because it does climax combo with our Stock Soul. So it gives all your characters in front 500 power, and then when you play the Stock Soul climax, you can pick up to 2 of your characters and they each get 1,000 power. So, and if you have 2 of these, you can give up to 2 characters 2,000 power. So, really, really good card for Ruby. It is a climax combo, but Stock Soul actually helps this deck out a lot because Ruby doesn't make a lot of stock, and a lot of her cards are very stock efficient, very stock heavy. We have 4 copies of her Brainstormer, Tokyo Coordinate, Ruby Kurosawa. It's not great. It does have the ability, of course, when you use an active ability, you can pump one of your other characters 500 power, and then it's a pay 1 spammable Brainstormer Search Ditch. Not great, but she has a Brainstormer, and a lot of the characters, despite the first 2 sets, don't have a Brainstormer. So it's better than nothing, but it's not really something you want to rely on. I just play 4 for consistency because sometimes you do actually need it. Moving on to level 1, guys, and this is where Ruby actually has some pretty decent cards. So first up is Koi no Naritae, Aquarium Ruby Kurosawa. Apologies, I'm really bad at pronouncing these names. So basically, she is a really good card. She's Nakatsuki, so on play, discard any card from your hand, look up to top 4 cards, add a music character, and then she does have a change combo with the Wind Climax, which we do actually play at this stage, where you pay 1, send her the waiting room, and drop the level 2 from your hand. So pretty good, can get a level 2 out, but you have to use the Climax combo. But main reason playing 4 is Akatsuki, and it is actually a very strong card for Ruby. As again, her Brainstormer is Search Ditch. She doesn't really have too much plus, but that card actually does help you mill a lot pretty effectively. So also, this is basically her only plus in the entire deck, which is Mijuku Dreamer Ruby Kurosawa. It is her level 1 Climax combo. Climax combos with Mijuku Dreamer. The yellow one, unfortunately, is a +2 soul, so Ruby becomes kind of a soul rush deck. But basically, when she attacks, if you have the Climax, you check the top card of your deck. If it's a music, you just get to add it to hand. That's really, really good. You don't have to ditch anything, can plus you pretty hard. And then, of course, if she becomes reversed in battle, you can check the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, you can pay 1 stock to chuck Ruby back in your hand. And that's pretty easy, considering she doesn't have a lot of power. So the +2 soul is good, because you can always just side with her, and it can build your hand up pretty quickly. So you definitely need to run 4 of this. Filling space for our level 1 characters, we have 2 copies of Precious Friends Ruby Kurosawa. So basically, I believe it's in either your turn or your opponent's turn, but it's +3k. I never really played on stage. And it also has Clock on Call. So pretty good. Can get to 8k. It's a 1/1. Don't really utilize it too much unless I need a beater. Hopefully she gets something a little bit better in the upcoming sets, because I don't really want to play too many 1/1s in this deck, because again, her deck is quite stock intensive for very little output. So we have two 3/5 counters, 1/1 3/5 counters. Again, Ruby's pretty weak at level 0 and level 1, so you need to power up these up, particularly if you want to protect your level 2 when you change into it, if your opponent does get over it, because it's one of the main things that she has to become a threat. And of course, you sometimes need to protect this. So it's actually pretty good for a 1/1 3/5 counter, and it's also an event, so you can help beat over stuff in your turn. We have one copy of This Is Computer. Now, people tell me this isn't a Ruby card. Yes, it's a Hanamaru card, but Ruby is right there on the card, so I can actually play it, and you do kind of need this. So it lets you sack a character and then search your deck for a climax. So pretty strong event. Play it at 1, because it's not technically a Ruby card, but Ruby is on it, sort of, so I technically can play it. Moving on to grade 2, guys, we have 2 copies of Azura Jumping Heart, Ruby Kurosawa. So this is the card that you change into from the level 1 Ruby. So basically it gets 500 power for each of your other music characters, which is pretty good. And then when she's played from hand, played the stage via the change or by herself, if you have 4 other musics, you can blind charge the top card of your deck, which is pretty cool. And here's the thing that makes this card pretty insanely annoying for the opponent to deal with. So during either player's combat phase, if this Ruby is in your waiting room, this card gains an extra 1000 power and becomes hexproof. So, and that's in both players' turns. So if you can get this out, you do minus a lot of hand to get this out, but if you can get it out, it can become pretty annoying, especially because you have the 3/5 counter and with this, so she's going to become pretty big and pretty annoying for the opponent to deal with. So you play 2 copies of it because, again, it's one of the best beaters that she actually has. We have 2 of Ruby's level 2 counter because it's actually pretty troll. So it's a 3k counter, and when you use it, your opponent mills a card from their deck for each music character you have. So it can be pretty good and pretty bad depending on the situation. If you know your opponent's playing like a compression deck and they've got a lot of climaxes left in their deck, you can use this to just mill like 5 if you've got 5 characters, and hopefully mill a bunch of climaxes. So it can be pretty useful. It's also a 3k counter, so pretty good. It's much better than the box topper PR from the first set because it has the extra effect. Moving on to grade 3, guys, we have 4 copies of Ruby Kurosawa. I mean, Ruby's grade 3s aren't great at the moment. She is getting a pretty good grade 3 in the Volume 2 set, but unfortunately we guys don't have access to that as of yet. So Ruby Kurosawa is basically, she has an on-play cancel burn, and you can pay 2 to give all your characters +1 soul. And then, yeah, it's something about 1/5 power. I mean, I don't really use it. I use it for the cancel burn. I mean, not super relevant, unfortunately, but you got to play 4 copies of it at the moment because she doesn't really have anything else. Her other grade 3, which we play 4 copies of, is Mirai Ticket, Ruby Kurosawa. Thank goodness Ruby has a heal. So on play heal, and then when she attacks, you choose one of your music characters. It gets 500 power times the number of music characters you have until the end of the turn. Unfortunately, it's the end of your turn, not your opponent's turn. Otherwise, it'd be a lot better. But this is Ruby's only heal, and we do have to play this moving forward. She's not an early play. It's a bit annoying that she's a double R and she's not an early play. I'd much rather this be an early play. But yeah, what can you do? That's all she has. Moving on to our climaxes spread, guys. We play a climax spread of 4-2-2. First up, guys, we play 4 copies of Mijuku Dreamer because it is the climax combo with our level 1 Ruby, which is our only hand fix in the entire deck. So you got to play 4 copies of it. It's a +2 soul, so you can easily soul rush your opponent out with that one. 2 copies of School Idol Project because it is the combo with the level 1 Akatsuki. We only play 2 copies of it because you don't always want to change, but also having a access to a win trigger is really, really handy. Of course, her new level 3 does have a win trigger as well. If you're playing like full first choose, you wouldn't be using this really. But for Ruby, it's actually pretty good. Having a win trigger can help you a lot considering she's not that big at level 0 and level 1. And her level 3s are pretty tiny as well. And finally, guys, we have 2 copies of Ruby, Yoshiko, and Hanamaru, We Want to Shine. It is a stock soul. This card does combo with a Yoshiko and the Hanamaru as well, but it is the combo with our level 0 application to the club Ruby Kurosawa, which can help give us a ton of power for our lower level characters, for our lower attack power characters, or our level 2 specifically if we really need to beat over something. But anyway, guys, that is it for the Ruby deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like to see me play this deck against some other mono character decks for Love Life Sunshine, please let me know in the comments below. And if you guys would like me to do an updated deck profile for this when the second set comes out, please let me know and I'll do my best to get the cards to do that for you guys. Until then, why not check out some of my other Weiss Schwarz videos. I've got a profile for Nico, Silica, Asterisk, Leafa is coming, and I have a Motherka profile coming up very, very soon for you guys. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you for my next video.